That breaking news, Montgomery Police Chief Darryl Albert is addressing the murder of 16-year-old Michael Cole Jr. and the arrests that were made just this morning, or that we learned about just this morning. This is a live shot from the Montgomery Police Department.
I'll start by saying, quite simply, gun violence in Montgomery must stop. You know, I've continued to say lack of de-escalation and conflict resolution is a problem here. And we need to do a better job at addressing those key issues. Put the guns down, Montgomery. It's time to put the guns down. We're going to talk about a series of events that took place in our city over the weekend and give the community some updates as to where we are with the investigation involving a murdered 16-year-old. We want to say right off the bat, thank you to the community for providing those much-needed tips for our detectives to go out and do the work they needed to do throughout the weekend. Thank you to reaching out to our Star Center. Thank you for reaching out to our tip line, and thank you for reaching out to Crime Stoppers. That really matters. So I'll turn it over to Chief John Hall to talk about some specifics, but keep in mind, we're going to give you some general information because this investigation is very fluid and very ongoing. So we ask that you all respect the process, and as we get more updates, we will update our community. Chief Hall?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Chief John Hall, Chief of Investigations for the Montgomery Police Department. In this case, started dealing with a missing person who was 16 years of age. And we actually responded on Friday, the 26th, and completed a report as a runaway report. And based on the information that we were given on Friday, that was the appropriate report. As things escalated during this case, and we started receiving tips from the public and continuous investigation, it very quickly learned that this is going to be more than a missing persons or a runaway case, and became a missing persons case. We also received tips where this individual might be at, and we involved the help of not just the police department, but the Montgomery Fire Rescue involved. We feel the tip that might be there, and as a part of that investigation in looking for this individual, we responded out to the Katoma Creek area, and we did foot searches. We flew the drone, and Montgomery Fire Rescue placed their boat in the water for several hours, covering several miles of the banks, trying to see if we could locate that individual. We did not locate him that night, and this case continued. Because it was the missing persons report, at this point we got the state involved with the Fusion Center so we could get the appropriate alerts sent out statewide looking for this individual. We continued this investigation, and as it continued, we were able to link this particular case back to an incident that occurred on Gaston Avenue on Thursday evening. Because it's an ongoing investigation and it's very fluid, I would just say it is linked to that, and that is where the actual incident occurred, was on Gaston Avenue on Thursday evening. These individuals went out of their way to try and hide the stuff from us. We were able to, through tips from the community coming in, debunk some of the information we were getting from these interviews, and actually able to come out to a conclusion as to what actually occurred. We were able, through that conclusion, to actually be able to locate the decedent in this case and continue this case. We have made 2 arrests in this case to this point, but I say this case is ongoing. So that's where this case is at the moment, and we're continuing this investigation. Chief Albert?
So I'll tell you, the detectives, from the very first phone call, worked diligently and nonstop on following each and every lead received from this community. So again, that's why I said thank you so much to the community. It's been nonstop, late nights, early mornings, around the clock, following each and every lead. And that's what good police work is about. But again, we don't do that alone. We rely heavily on tips from the community, and that happened in this case. I will say that this investigation, again, is very ongoing. It is very fluid, and we will update the community as more information is available. So I just want to say thank you for providing this service to the community and letting them know the good hard work our detectives making here in the city of Montgomery. Thank you to the community. Thank you to Montgomery Fire and Rescue for coming out and assisting us. You know, we put a lot of resources into this, from boats, foot searches, drone searches. We were working with Aaliyah on the helicopter. There was a lot of pieces to this puzzle. And again, we have 2 arrests, and again, we'll update you as more is available. Questions?
Yes, are more arrests expected? And then also, are you all able to let us know where the body was found? I know you mentioned the search Catoma Creek, but where was that body found?
We'll provide you with that information, absolutely, but I will not discuss what the potential ending of this case will look like at this time. But I promise we will update the community through the media to any changes. If you call the location, the exact location we can get.
The location is going to be in the 6500 block of Selma Highway is where the body was located.
Do you all believe that the victim knew the suspects that have been arrested?
There is indication that all parties knew each other. And, that's one of the things, the homicides in this city, we see all too often that it's individuals who know each other, who settle a dispute or have some kind of ongoing action with people they know. And that's why it's so important when I talk about de-escalation and conflict resolution that, we stay away from those things. There's a way to discuss, back down, cool off, and not have, incidents like this occur. But again, we've made a ton of arrests last year. We made a ton of arrests for gun violations last year. We have federal indictments on gun cases. We will continue to police this community and remove these guns off the street. Even with the permitless carry that's out there that's kind of tying police and law enforcement, we're doing our due diligence, but we're asking the community for some help in this. It starts in the home. It starts in your neighborhoods. Do what you can do to prevent this kind of action from taking place to begin with.
I do have another question. I know your department received a lot of criticism on the handling of this case and when the missing emergency child missing alert was, sent out. Can you respond to that? And also, I'll ask a follow-up question after that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, and I said it already, when this came out on Thursday, from the very first phone call, detectives were working. And there were some things we just needed to do behind the scenes that we could not release to the public. So at no time was this Montgomery Police Department or any of our partnering agencies sitting on our hands doing nothing. This was very active from the onset up until we're releasing this information out. So to the family, our promises are, as with everyone in the community, we will investigate these cases and run out each and every lead, no matter how small they are, and to come to a conclusion. So to the community, to the family, look, we worked on this case day in, day out, through the night. Late last night, we were out there on the scene, still working the case, and then again, of course, putting it together. That's why what we're releasing right now is what we can at this time. Again, it's very fluid, very ongoing, and we will update you as more comes available.
I know that you had mentioned it was found as a runaway at first. For those that may not understand, is there a specific procedure that you guys follow in order to make sure that the appropriate allocation is given for that type of situation?
Yes, well, the family notified us that the individual was missing. That was the first part. And then as tips came in and as leads came in and as interviews took place, we were able to elevate the status. So, there's benchmarks, there's criteria for each and every one of those levels. Once those levels were met, we changed the status of it. But from the beginning, we continued to search for this individual and investigate, dig deep into what we can find to see where this case is going to go. And then, of course, as more tips came in and more interviews took place, some subsequent interviews, individuals we originally interviewed once, we interviewed a second time. So we never did stop.
Any idea of a motive?
Not at this time.
So you mentioned that you had a lot of tips from the community. Is this a change from what you've seen in the past?
Tips from the community is very important. From the day I became chief of police here, that's one of the things I believe in talking about, and that's our partnership with the community and how important that is. So that is very important. It was very important in this case as it is in so many cases. So again, that's why I say hats off to the community, hats off, and thank you for communicating with us and helping us solve these cases.
Is there any time that we can expect further updates on this particular case?
Yeah, if there's anything breaking, as soon as the next steps are taken or identified, we will notify the media and get you guys together so we can push that information out. At this time, I don't have a timeline on that, but I can tell you detectives are continuing to work the case as I'm standing here now.
And are you all giving a cause or time of death for the 16-year-old?
No, not at this time. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You've been listening to Montgomery Police Chief Darryl Albert and the police department finally give us a few details about the search and discovery of 16-year-old Michael Cole Jr.'s body being found in his murder. We do know, just learned from this press conference just now, that his body was found along Selma Highway early this morning. Already 2 people have been arrested for his murder. Nicholas King Shepard and Nedvin Jones Jr. Both of them are 18 years old. Both of them are now charged with felony murder. Right now, we do know that there was an intense search in Katoma Creek that included a boat in the creek. We are not exactly sure if that's where the body was found, but we do know that that stretch of Selma Highway is near Katoma Creek. Police still not ready to release all of those details yet, as there is still an investigation into this case. We also have not confirmed a cause of death. We also do not know a motive, although the chief did say that this is an investigation that has been pretty intense all weekend long since he was reported missing on Thursday. That original report police filed as a runaway report. It was not until the weekend that it was upgraded to a missing persons report, and then not until Monday was the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency and the Fusion Center involved to release a statewide missing persons alert. And then the body was found early this morning. We're still looking for a few more details as we continue to follow this story. We did hear from the Montgomery Police Department and Chief Darryl Albert that this investigation is going to continue for quite some time. We don't know if there are any other suspects at this point, although the police did allude that there could be more arrests as this investigation continues. He did say, the chief did say, that all parties involved did seem to know each other. You heard our WSFA 12 News anchor Rosanna Smith in that press conference asking questions. She'll, of course, give us the very latest on this as these details continue to unfold later this afternoon and throughout the week.